Goswami. Iti namine namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivesesha Shunyavadi Paschachadi Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for coming. Today is Monday, the 14th of July. And the 7th month of this year is the month that on the Mondays we do overview, breakdown, and now more readings from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Can you hear all right? Okay. And we'll be adding a few new features. Can you hear all right? Can you hear all right? Oh, whatever's happening, I don't know. Okay. So we thank you all for coming. Srimad Bhagavatam is the heart and soul of the Vaishnava devotees. So our objectives for today are learning outcomes. Okay. Our learning outcomes today. She needs a chart, Samohini. Maybe you can help her. By the end of this instructional period, we state our outcomes our objectives at the beginning, and by the end, we attain, hopefully by the mercy of the Lord and the Vaishnavas, we attain those objectives as outcomes. And again, we redefine that teaching means what the student will be able to do. What does it mean? What the student will be able to do at the end of the prescribed period. Right, it is not what the teacher may know or do or be. So there are three things we'll repeat. At the end of this prescribed period, the student will be able to know. The student will what? Will be able to know. The student will be able to do. Will be able to do. And the student will be. These are three objectives that are the domains of learning. So I'll put that again on our screen. Very important. Those of you who are teachers, and you're also learners, you're both. The three domains, 3D, please write on your slate, the three domains of learning, because you're here as learners. But ideally, you're in a mission for spreading knowledge, real knowledge. The world is bereft of knowledge. The world is actually in nescience. So your mission, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, is to give knowledge, receive it from the right authorities, and transmit it, right? That's the obligation of one who receives. There are three domains, 3D domains. Domain is area, place. Three domains of learning. And those three domains are knowledge, right? Skills and values. So if one takes on the term teaching as his activity, he must have knowledge, skills, and value objectives. Which ones? In mind for the prescribed period of instruction. That prescribed period may be one lesson, it may be a unit, it may be a semester, it may be an entire course, right? But those goals have to be clearly stated and met. Okay, so we all know there are three domains: knowledge, skills, and values. And we were equating this with the Vaishnava philosophy of Sambandha. What's Sambandha? Knowledge of who we are. And the next one, skills, would be right, process, abhideya. There has to be practical process for attaining a goal. Knowledge is insufficient. The practice has to be there. And the goal is P, the prayojana. That is the goal. So this is practically the same thing. Knowledge, what does the student have to know? What should the student be able to do practically? And what should be the change? Because knowledge should be bringing a transformation. What should knowledge do? Bring a transformation, right. Otherwise it's useless. If there's no transformation, the knowledge is just dead matter. Okay? Would you quickly turn to your study partner and explain the 3 domains, what they are, and let's give the Vaishnava equivalent. Okay? Okay? You want to tell me? Okay. Okay. Okay, Sambandha, okay. Okay. Prayojana, right. These are the 3 objectives. So if you're teaching, you should have that in mind. What, at the beginning of a prescribed period, what knowledge should you acquire? What skills should you acquire? And what values? Should there be a change? Right, a change in heart. Okay? Okay, now in contrast, the understanding by the layperson is that an interaction is to cover material. What does the interaction do? Cover the material. That's, of course, one aspect of it, but that does not constitute teaching. Everybody clear on that? This is very important for those of you here, especially people like Damini. She's here, she's often on her way to head a program. So I keep stressing that because if you are a professional and you're being trained in teacher training, you learn this. But the general layperson may not know that. You all agree? Yeah, if you're a medical expert, you'll know terminology that the layperson will not know. So I keep stressing that because in our group we often do have people who are teachers or who go back to some area and have to facilitate study groups. So it's very important for them to know what a professional is actually trained to do. It's very specific. It's very specific. You all get the difference now? Right, covering material. That's not, but that doesn't mean that something was taught. Okay, you all got the point. Okay, so at this particular time, this is the beginning of our prescribed period, and at the end, we are stating as our learning objectives that all the people here, again, will be doing a quick revision of the Canto, its size in chapters, right? At the end, everybody must know that, be able to repeat it, explain it, teach it. Every participant here must know that there are 4 major divisions. How many? 4. You must be able to recite it, explain it, transmit it. This is a missionary spirit movement. Every participant here at the end must be able to identify the size and the topic of each of the 4 subdivisions. What must you be able to do at the end? You must know the size and the topic, This would be your subdivisions of the 7th canto. All of you, when you go, it should be automatic. So that's why we drill here. We practice. That's a skill. A skill is a drill. Skills and drills here. And the final thing is, we've done it before and we'll be revising quickly. Everyone here should be able to identify the title, the full title of the 15 chapters by the end. Is that good? All right. Now you have a little study sheet, a handout that is old, but at least it has that information on it. It's helpful. And you also have the Bhagavatam chapter titles, this page, right? You all have this as well. You didn't get it, okay? Okay, he needs if somebody could. Haribol Mataji. In addition, we will be doing selected readings because this is the second, I believe this is the second Monday in this month. We will be doing selected readings from the first 2 topics so we get a little bit more of a feeling for the details. Obviously, we cannot read the whole 7th canto in 4 sessions, but we encourage all of you here. We've given audiobooks out. Try to listen regularly, hear it. We'll be playing little snippets here on the computer of some of the more dramatic or instructive parts of this canto. And whenever possible, try to read now, because you have the contextual organization in your mind. You will know where you are when you're reading, and then you start filling in the details. Okay? So today we want to allot more time to selected readings interaction, because everybody relishes the Bhagavatam. And I will, everybody's clear now? So again, our skills are always built in. How do we drill? We've been doing that before. How do we practice? All right? And even our skills in interactive reading. We just don't listen to somebody read. We read and allow for following along, responding. And as far as values go, those are woven in, particularly in this canto, the instructions of Prahlad to his demoniac classmates, schoolmates. That section is, I'd say in the 7th canto, that section is quoted the most. 7th canto. And in the 5th canto, the teachings of Rishabdev. These are sections that Srila Prabhupada is referencing throughout his books. You all agree? And of course, the storyline is there. I cannot imagine any devotee of any level has not heard the story of Prahlad and Shringadev. Very, very common stories. But the storyline we all understand, but the deeper level of what instructions are there for us. Okay, and then the last one, we'll be spending time on the final sections, the sections on Vanashram. What are the instructions for the classes of society, for the different spiritual classes and social classes? What are the instructions for an ideal family? What are the instructions for the perfect human being? And what are the instructions for a civilized human being? So that's a very important section as well. Okay, so everybody know those should be our value changes, because if we hear these things, then we must adopt them. Once you hear something, according to Shastra, if you hear it, you become more obliged to carry it out. If someone does not know, and he's doing something vikarmic, he will not suffer as great a reaction as someone who knows or has heard, and he still does it. The reaction is up, because once you hear. So be prepared if you feel you better get up and leave. Because if you hear something and you don't apply it, you're more culpable. Everybody understand that? Very clear. Yeah, very clear. And the higher you go in spiritual advancement, the more culpable. That's why when you go to higher and higher rungs of advancement, falling is very risky. Doesn't take much, right? More dangerous. You agree? A person on a lower level, he will suffer. But if a person on a higher level acts inappropriately, Very serious. Very, very. You agree, right? Why? Because he should know better. He's responsible. And he's setting example for society. Society will follow. Okay? Everybody clear on those points? All right. So also I'm adding a little feature here that I hope will make, I'm going to call it, we have some nectar breaks. We're not going to pass out juice. We're going to be weaving in fun little points from other books, just so you get a sampler of what some of the other books might offer you. Okay? I'll agree, that's fun. So we'll have, every once we'll stop. We'll say, did you know this? Okay? Let's first glorify our Srimad Bhagavatam, if you have your glorification. Sanatana Goswami's disappearance was the other day, on the 12th. And we're grateful to him for his literatures and his Krishna Lila, Sri Krishna Lila Stava. From this we have our prayer. So our key words again, this is our study skill, using our hands, a reading skill, our small finger, use your little index, your tiny finger, okay, as you slide along. And the study skill is to, before reading the entire text, extract essence words, memory link words. So the first word was nectar. We'll go through this quickly. Nectar, and the next word is fruit, and the next word is jewels. Okay? Nectar, fruit, and jewels. Then the next word is vision, life breath, and the next one is sun. And the final one is Krishna. So you have 7 link words, okay? O Srimad Bhagavatam. O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures. O most precious transcendental fruit of all the Vedas. O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions. O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world. O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun, which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You are Sri Krishna, who has kindly returned to be with us. And if we forget that the darkness of Kali Yuga is all around us, I always like to make a reference to the morning Bhagavatam class. How many of you heard it? Was it not terrifying? Terrifying. Do not think for 1 minute this world is a place to be. Did you feel terrified when you? I thought I'm staying in my room, I'm not going out. His conclusion was, don't go out in Vrindavan alone. The story of Jud Bharat and this pastime, oh, that's the Bhagavatam, worship of Kali, that's another age. That's not for people in this century with cell phones. And you say there are 2 instances recently in Vrindavan where human sacrifice took place. Yeah, human sacrifice took place in Vrindavan. Terrifying. And he quoted many newspaper articles of some man offered his 8-month-old baby girl to Kali. I mean, this is not a joke, folks. We are in bondage. We are transmigrating. We have a fixed karmic period. It will end, and where you go depends on how you live your life now. You all agree this is serious business? You may be in a comfortable position, but you have no idea when it's over. And that's the world around us. Scary. Okay. Try to, if you can, download that class. It was brilliant. Brilliant. The next one, our keywords are obeisances, then reading, and then bliss, and then rain, and then love, and then after that one was served. Okay, and the final one is Krishna. Okay, we're going to race through this because we have a lot to cover today. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss. For your syllables rain pure love of Krishna upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone. For you are a most merciful incarnation of Sri Krishna. Okay, and all the things that the Bhagavatam is to us because it's non-different from Krishna. It is Krishna. Krishna is everything, right? So he is friend, and he's a companion. The Bhagavatam is a companion. The Bhagavatam is a teacher. The Bhagavatam is a wealth. It's a deliverer. And it's also good fortune. Because believe me, the world out there is inauspicious. There's nothing about it that's auspicious. Nothing. And if it appears to be, that makes it all the more dangerous. Right? Oh, my bliss. Okay, bliss. And heartfelt obeisances. O Srimad Bhagavatam. O my only friend. And O my dear companion. O my teacher. O my greatest wealth. O my deliverer. O my good fortune. O my bliss. I offer my heartfelt obeisances unto you. Okay? And here's what the Bhagavatam can do for the inmates of Kali Yuga. That's what we all are, the inmates of Kali. It can make the unsaintly saintly, right? Give saintliness to the unsaintly. And as one devotee said, I think it was Guru Kripa, he said something memorable. He said, there's nobody in Kali Yuga that has a pretty story. That has a pretty story. We have no idea what we've been. And we probably don't want to know. O uplifter of the very fallen. Yeah, uplifter and fallen. And the prayer, don't leave. And finally, manifest in two places, heart and throat. Okay. And then we should have it with Krishna praying, not with something else. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please don't ever leave me. Please become manifest in my heart and my throat, accompanied by Krishna praying. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, and just a little bit of a footnote here. You don't need to have this today, but another quote on the back of your study guide, Narayani's study guide. I'll read just the first line. You don't need that to have just one quote. Just recite after me. This is a picture of Prabhupada, and this is Srila Prabhupada's lecture in Geneva, 1974. So you can hear and repeat, okay? Don't waste time.
Don't waste time.
As much as possible. Try to hear. Bhagavatam. Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the Vaishnavas. In Vrindavan, you will find they are always reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That is their life and soul. Srimad Bhagavatam is so nice. If you practice anywhere, any condition, simply by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will be happy. Be happy. Srila Prabhupada lecture in Geneva, 1974. So those of you who are fortunate enough to be here in Vrindavan, what is Prabhupada's strong recommendation? Right. Don't waste what? Time. Time is the most precious commodity. Every second is lost forever. Right? You don't get it back. Money you can replace, but time you cannot. Okay, so now we are ready to do our quick revision so we can move on to deeper understanding of this 7th canto and listen to a few snippets along here and there. Okay, so quickly take out your magic slates. And you open them up as if they're computers. So when you have a computer, you first have to click on the book. Okay? All right. Everybody please write on your slates. You all have your slates? We urge you to follow. People are watching these videos. If they see people not participating, they'll think it's not important. You're here to help us inspire other people to use the 4-step method, which is hear, see, say, and write. You may be writing in notebooks, but the advantage of the slate is you can erase and not waste paper. Okay, and we turn to the 7th canto, which opens up into 15 chapters. How many? So everybody knows that, right? Automatically. If you leave here, you would say, open up the Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, and we see the file opens up, click, 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 15 chapters. Then we check Narayani Study Guide. We have that as our model. We open that up to her charts, and she shows, very simply, and she's authorized. She has spoken on Bhagavatam, and she has used Bhurijan's breakdown, so we accept her study guide as our guideline. You have to have some authority when you speak. You can't just make it up. Whimsical. That's not Shastra. So she has shown that there are 4 topics. How many? 4 topics. Okay. And she puts a simple title on each one. And she has shown us the breakdowns, too. So the first one, you'll check on your mind map, and you show the front side here. I have the color version. Okay. You'll see these numbers, 4, 3, 3, and 5. Okay. So this canto breaks down to 4 for the first topic, 3 for the second, 3 for the third, and 5. So under your code, your dots here, please write those numbers. This indicates the size of each of these topics, right? 4, 3, 3, and 5. Okay, erase that quickly and do it really fast. Replay. We call it a replay. If you have a camera, they'll have a replay button. Let's watch that again. The more you do something, the deeper the impression, especially in Kali Yuga. Repetition is one of the 5 R's of retention. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Right? Practice, practice. 4, 3, 3, 5. Okay? Now let's build on that, because knowledge, once you get to one step, we go into our stretch zone and we add our next step. And our next step is we put the code letter for the topics. So our first code letter is H for Hiranyakashipu. Okay? H. Our second code letter is P for Prahlad. And we were making a link the last time. HP is a little memory stick. It's a company that makes memory sticks. HP. Think of something that help you. Anything. It can be humorous. It can be creative. Whatever. Anything that helps you quickly remember. Okay, and our next one was what? N Right. N for whom? Nishringadev. And our last one was? B for an ashram. And we use the word envy. Envy is the root cause of our being here. Every one of us here is envious. Bad news, right? We're envious. You wouldn't have a body if you weren't. And the original root of envy is envy of Krishna. And that extends to all of his parts and parcels. So why is the material world so miserable? Because everybody's envious of everybody else. And it takes extreme forms. Whether it's sacrificing animals or sacrificing a baby girl or, giving people a hard time or criticism. Criticism means envy. If you're criticizing, you're envious. That's what it says in the Shastra. Criticism means envy. So, H, P, and V. Erase it quickly and put those four things. Turn to your partner quickly and see how quickly you can repeat this. Okay? Okay, everybody able to do that? Because we want to make sure you know when you walk out of here, you know it well enough to transmit it. Now I promised some little nectar breaks here. We always try to remember a number for 4 or 3 or 5. And we tend to think of the easy ones. So I have a fun little book here called Nectar from Numbers. Okay? I want to get this copied so we have copies for everybody. Let's think of some other things. Let's try you first. When I say 4, what can you think of that's 4? 4 varnas, 4 ashrams. Okay, what else? 4 kumaras. 4 regulative principles. Chaturmasya. Chaturshloki. Good. How many have we done so far? 4 or 5? Anybody think of anything else as 4? They've got pages and pages of things.
4 kinds of men who don't surrender.
Good, and 4 kinds of men who do. Anybody else? Okay. Let's think of some things here that are 4. So they give the ashrams, right? 4 social classes, 4 social orders. The Chaturshloki in the Gita, Chaturshloki in the Bhagavatam. They give 4 kinds of cosmic annihilation, Canto 12. Defects of the conditioned soul, how many? 4. The Duskritinas, right? 4 things that accepted Indra sinful reaction. Remember that one from Canto 6. 4 types of food. Chewed, sucked. Kali Yuga diminishes 4 things. Krishna's garments, 4 things. And Krishna's horses, 4 horses. 4 kumaras. Oh, Lord Narayan's symbols. And Lord Ramachandra and his brothers, right? Madhyamadikari's vision, right? It's interesting. You think about it, but it's, yeah, you know a lot more than you suspect when you go through, right? And here they give where you can prove it. This is a handy little book. Where is this reference? Good for preachers. Principles of material body. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. It's amazing how much devotees know. They're not realize, you don't realize how much you know. Principles of an ashram dharma, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? And stages of sannyas, 4. It goes on and on and on. I don't want to take your time. Anyway, it's a fun little nectar book, right? So think about those things as you do your reading and your study. What other things are for? All right, now we have to commit to memory the chapter titles. So we do that first in little chunks. Please take out your list. You have the list there from not only your chart, the chart will help you, but you also have your list. It's nice to look at things in 2 ways, right? Sometimes I might remember it when I saw it on a list. Sometimes I might remember if I saw it on a mind map. So keep both references handy. Do you both have both? Okay, and do you have your magic slates? Okay, because we want to go over this quickly. You should be able to walk out of here and say, bam, 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 chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Okay. So keep both references. It's very important to see something from a different angle. We all learn in different ways. Okay, so here we go. Have your slates ready? First thing we did was use the eyelash approach. Mind mapping is one thing. This is another way to do it. It's like a mind map, but not quite. Little eyelashes here. And your first topic was H for Hiranyakashipu. And we put 4 eyelashes on that. Turn your slates vertically. And you put 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Now, if you notice, use task analysis to remember something. The fastest way to remember this is to start, say, how many chapters have his name in them? So 2, 3, and 4 include his name. The first one does not. Okay? So Hiranyakashipu is the topic. Now we're going deeply. Now we need to learn quickly 4 chapter titles, but first you start with the key word. Okay? And we know Hiranyakashipu is going to be in all 2, 3, and 4. But we need another word to help us differentiate 2, 3, and 4. So our first symbol for chapter 1 is equal sign. What's it? Equal sign. Okay? The second one for 2 is king. You can put a little crown if you want to. You can use pictures, pictograms. So you can put an equal sign, a symbol, a little pictogram. You can put a letter. Okay? Or a K, right? Equal sign now, your skill. This is your skill. I go back and practice. I don't just keep going. Equal, king, and what's the next one? No. Plan. His plan to become immortal. So you can put a P. He has to be given a benediction. Yeah. And number 4, he misuses it because he does what? He terrorizes the whole universe, not just a small little neighborhood like a lot of kids do, right? Some children live in a neighborhood and their conduct terrorizes everybody there. Equal, king, plan, and terrorize. Terrorize, okay? Now, let's add everything. Let's do it now properly. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1. The title is The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Okay? You should be able to reference it like that. Okay, and you've got your title here. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2. The title is Hiranyakashipu, the King of the Demons. Chapter 3, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3. Hiranyakashipu planned to become immortal. Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. And Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4, Hiranyakashipu terrorized the universe. Okay, so we will start, and you will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and he will do 3, 4. Okay? All right? Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1. You tell us.
I say
Just the chapter title, 1. You do 1.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 15th chapter. Chapter number 1 title is The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone.
Okay, now you do chapter 2. Very loudly, because you're actually on YouTube. You're on YouTube. Go ahead. Say it loudly. Correct. Which canto? Did you say 7th canto? You say? Say Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3. Okay? All right, next, Mataji. Chapter. Correct. Starting again, Malini. Loudly now, because I have a mic, but you don't. So you all have to have projection when you speak. Go ahead. Srimad Bhagavatam. You're starting with 1 again. Okay, say it one more time because it was a little shaky. Chapter. Correct. Mataji? Chapter 2. Correct. Okay, next, Dominique. You want to say Anand? Okay. Okay, Dominique, loudly. Just the universe, I believe. Just the universe. Get it correctly. All right, now we start with Samohini, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1. Just loudly. Loudly, the Lord is equal to everyone. Correct. Now we're okay. Right. Correct. And now we come back to Garangi. The universe. Okay, start again. And next. Okay, now you see when you have to do it, you really have to stop to think. Okay? Now let's go to the second section, all right? On your slates, and look at your list. The second topic has 3 eyelashes. Okay? Now really pay attention now, because you'll be asked to repeat. And it really is good, because the tendency is, if you're just sitting there, you may think you know it, and you really may not. So if you have to know it and you're going around, you'll be a lot more attentive. You'll be more attentive. This is a skill. All right. This topic is what? Prahlad. And the numbers on this? 5, 6, and? How many of them have his name? 3. Right. All 3 have his name. Okay? All 3. 5, 6, 7. His name is in all 3. All right, now we have to extract the differentiating word. Okay? So the first one is what? Saintly son. We did SS. SS. Saintly son. Saintly son. He's the saintly son. That's chapter what? 5. Remember, this section goes from 5 through 7. Now the next one. His name again. What's he doing in this one? Instructing. Right. This is the really important section. Instructing. Okay? So Prahlad is instructing his demoniac schoolmates. Prahlad instructs his demoniac schoolmate. And the final one is what Prahlad learned in the womb. Right, so here we have I for instruct. So we have SS, saintly son, I for instruct, and W for womb. That's where he was enlightened by Narada. It goes to show you that actually parents should read Bhagavatam if the child is, before the child is born. It will create his destiny. It will create his destiny. They hear it. They hear it. The soul hears it. The soul hears it. Saintly son instructs and womb. 5 is saintly son. 6 is instructs. 7 is womb. Now let's check our charts and get the entire statement. Prahlad Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Now this is irony, because he's the biggest demon ever, but his son is a devotee. Next, Prahlad instructs his demoniac schoolmates. He's instructing his demoniac schoolmates. And where did he get the knowledge? What Prahlad learned in the womb. So this is actually an easy section. These 3. Okay? We'll start again. Arti, you start with the first one from the section on Prahlad. Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 5. You say the whole thing in the title, okay?
Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam. This title, Prahlad.
5th, which chapter?
Okay, chapter 5. Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu.
Okay, now the next chapter by... But Canto, yeah, go ahead. Very good. Next one. In the womb. In the womb. Okay, starting again with Mataji. We'll start again with 5. Very good. She just rattled that off. You get to that point, you know, you'll be surprised what your meditation is after this, right? This is your meditation. Next. Very good. See, she one time around and now she's used to it. Next. I think it's just what Prahlad learned in the womb, correct? Try to get exact. All right, none. Next. Okay, Dominique. Okay. Okay, not Neela. Back to chapter. Okay, next. Very good. 7. In the womb. Next. Okay, next. Very good. Do you all find yourselves increasing your awareness, your meditation? You find that you become, the more you know, the more. My father used to say, it isn't that I know what I like what I know. It's true. Once you start to know something, you start to feel an attachment for it. This is the thing to be attached to, the Bhagavatam. These literatures, Prabhupada said, will get you into the spiritual world. Otherwise, you read other things and they'll take you right back into the material energy. Okay, let's quickly do the next. We have another section of 3. And for what? Nishringadev. 1, 2, 3. And where do we start the numbering? Right, we ended with 7, so we get 8, 9, 10. How many times does Nishringadev's name show up? 2 times, okay. And Prahlad? 2 times. Okay? So we get Nishringadev 2 times, and we get Prahlad 2 times. And we have 3 here to learn. All right? Let's get our key word. So our first one, I think we put the word was S for slays. He slays. This is the place where he slays. And the next one we put triple P. P, P, P. Prahlad pacifies the Lord with prayers. He pacifies the Lord with prayers. And the final one is we did the word E for exalted. We're not just talking about ordinary devotees, we're talking about exalted. And he is the what? He's the best. He's the best among exalted devotees. Prahlad is put very high on the list of great devotees. Okay, so let's get the whole thing. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8. Lord Nishringadev slays the king of the demons. So we have king of the demons again. Lord Nishringadev slays the king of the demons. Number 9, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9. Prahlad pacifies Lord Nishringadev with prayers. Prahlad pacifies Lord Nishringadev with prayers. Very famous set of prayers. Everybody's afraid of Nishringadev except Prahlad. Even Lakshmi won't go near him. Ugra Nishringa, just terrifying everybody. The next one, Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. Okay, let's go over this one more time. Lord Nishringadev slays the king of the demons. That's number 8. Number 9, Prahlad pacifies the Lord with prayers. The next one is Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. Starting with Arti. Quickly, move fast, because we got to do one more, and then we have to read. Go ahead.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, titled, The Lord Nishringadev slays the king of demons.
Okay, next. Correct. Next. Very good. Next, Mataji. Okay, now start again with Malini. Okay, next. Exalted devotees. Okay, Anand? The king of the demons, Dominique? Okay, next 10. Okay, and? Okay, next, Srimad Bhagavatam. Pacifies, is it Lord Sringadev? Lord Sringadev with prayers. Try to get the whole thing. And went over to Garangi. Exalted devotees. Kings of the demons, and the next one, chapter. Okay, and we'll stop very quickly. Our last one, and this is easy. The last 5 are easy. Very, very easy. This should not be hard. Make your circle with V for what? Vanashram. How many chapters? 5. What word is repeated in 4? Perfect, 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 perfect. 3 out of the 3, yeah, perfect. Actually, it's repeated in 3. The other one is ideal. Okay? So let us number these, starting with 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I made too many eyelashes there, sorry. V with 5 eyelashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the numbers starting with 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So here, this is very simple. Vanashram, we have the perfect society 2 times. The perfect society for 11 and for 12, the perfect society. For 13, we have the perfect person. For 14, we have ideal family. And for 15, we have civilized human beings. Okay? Perfect society. Perfect society twice. Perfect behavior of a perfect person. Then ideal family life. And then civilized human beings. The world is not filled with civilized human beings. It's less than animal. It's more dangerous than animals. Animals aren't this dangerous. Humans are more dangerous than animals. Okay, so we have the perfect society. What? 4 social classes. That's your first one. So the perfect society has 4 social. Right. Prabhupada said spiritual life begins with Vanashram. If you don't know that, it's just animal life. Below Vanashram system, it's animal life. The perfect society, now 4 what? Spiritual classes. So your first one is your social classes, and then you have your spiritual classes. Okay? Your social classes are your Brahmins, your Kshatriyas, your Vaishyas, and your Shudras, and your social ones, your Sannyasis, your Vanapras, and your Grihastas, and your Brahmacharis, so 4. Okay, and the behavior of the perfect person, that's in 13. Behavior of the perfect person. Ideal family life. This is good for Grihastas. Most of you are probably in or have been in a Grihasta situation. The prescription is there in the Bhagavatam. What should you do? What should you do? It's amazing. Very clear. And the final one is instructions for civilized human beings. You can't tell a dog on the street what to do. He's not going to understand you. You can train him, but you can't have a philosophical debate. A monkey's about to steal your glasses. You say, wait a minute. This is against religious principles. Is he going to pay attention? No. And you see, the more people become animalistic, the less they're able to understand, the more degraded they are, and the more dangerous. If you want to know what a dangerous person is like, just see how far down the scale he is on, behavior. Very dangerous. Okay. All right, so can we try 7-Eleven? What's 7-Eleven? The perfect society for social classes. 12 is what? For spiritual classes. 13 is what? They have a perfect person. Okay, and what's 14? Yes, those of you who are grihastas, read that section. And number 15 is what? Instructions for a civilized human being. Civilized human beings. Instructions for civilized human beings. Okay, we'll start with RT and we'll go around.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 11th chapter, titled Perfect Society for Social Class.
Okay, next. Good. Okay, next, Mataji. Ideal family life. This is a good reference. Most people here have been in family life or are or will about to be. So you should know what are the prescriptions. Next, Mataji. Okay, and Mataji, you want to start us again? The perfect what? Yes. 4 social classes. It's really easy. The perfect society, 4 social classes. Anand? Okay, the spiritual classes. Jamini, what's next? Okay, next. Ideal family life. Next. Instructions for civilized. So start us again. Right? For social classes. Now we're back to Garangi. Very good. Behavior of a perfect person. And the next one? Perfect. Okay. You've all done it pretty well? Okay, take a moment with your study partner and see if you can name with each other 15 chapter titles, okay? Okay, we'll give you a few minutes on this one, and let's see how you do, and then we'll go into our readings. You want to practice with me? Okay. It's okay. This is good exercise because, it's a meditation. You start memorizing and practicing like that, throughout the day, you'll say, oh, chapter 1, the Supreme Lotus equal to everyone. You'll be fixed in the Bhagavatam. Radha Govinda can say all 335 chapter titles. It's a wonderful meditation. Do it a second. Do each section. Remember the section? 4, and then 3, and then 3, and then 5. Take it in chunks. Right. Number 2 is... No, King of the Demons. Yes, then the universe, yeah, it makes sense. First he's king of the demons, then he terrorizes, then he's planning to become immortal, and then when he gets it, he abuses it, and he becomes terror on the whole universe. Okay, then you have Prahlad. There were 3 with Prahlad. So what's Prahlad? Saintly son of Prahlad Maharaj, saintly son of the king of the demons, right? And then the next. You can practice. Go ahead. Okay, 5 is what? The saintly son of the king of the demons, yeah. Okay, and number 6? 5, I'm sorry. 6, yeah. Schoolmates. And? What Prahlad Maharaj learned in the womb. Okay, now, next section is the Shringadev. So you practice that one. The mind is really working there, right? Getting those gears go. Brush off the rust. Brushing off the rust on the... Anyway, certainly referred to a lot. Story of Prahlad, very frequently quoted. Important. One of the most popular storylines, for sure. And Lord Chaitanya read the story of Prahlad and Dhruva practically daily. Almost daily, he heard the pastimes of Dhruva and Prahlad. Because they're little children, and when children do something, it's more powerful than like that. Right. So, does Malini know them? You know them, Malini? Practice. Remember what the book said. Don't waste time. The mind will do that. Expert. It loves to just go to sleep. Have to keep it awake, you know. Bhaktisiddhanta said, beat it with a shoe. Okay, Damini, you know them now? Hey, good. You know them. How about you, Gurangi? Yeah. Yeah, Gurangi's good. Okay. Hate to spoil your fun. A quick nectar break before we go to our readings. I decided to take other books and just give you a little quick snippet so you know we have so much available to us as devotees, right? Whoa, so much. Okay, here's a little book. I've by the mercy of Neela here, I got 10 copies. The last 10 copies available at this price. This was, when it was this price, it was a 15 rupee book. It's also not, now they sell it for 100 rupees, but this book is considered to be probably the best buy in the bookstore. And it's called the Bhakti Trilogy, and it has in it, the first part is the Madhurya Kandambini, which is the progression of the devotee from Shraddha up to Prem. Very nicely described by Vishwanath Chakrabarti. On the back, there are listed 5 obstacles to counteracting the anarthas. You've got that book, yes. What are obstacles that we have to counteract? We are not, anarthas are not something inside of you. They are not something inside, like, oh, I have a, maybe somebody says, oh, I have a boil or something. No, we're made of anarthas. We're made of them. Your whole body is constructed of anarthas. Don't be proud of your body. You should be ashamed of it. Prabhupada said, oh, you think you're the body? You rascal. Anybody who thinks he's the body, it's understood. He's been cast into that misidentification as punishment. The more you misidentify the body, it means the more rascal you are. It's the truth. Is it true? I'm not saying anything out of line. It's the fact. You listen to Prabhupada regularly. He hammers the truth. The whole world is giving you falsehood, illusion to keep you in jail. The pure devotee is coming to get you out. And he's giving you the knowledge you have to understand and apply to get you out of jail. Because we're all in jail. Material world is Durga's fortress. So here, let's find out a couple of the obstacles that'll keep you from uprooting anarthas. You want to know what some of them are? Okay, so the first one, can you see the word laya? L-A-Y-A. What is it? Laya. It's the weakness of being more soporific during hearing about the Lord than while chanting his names, and more soporific while remembering the Lord than during hearing about it. So here it means that when you're trying to think about the Lord or hear about him, you're not so ability to absorb. You're sort of like laziness. Okay? Weakness. Okay. And the next one is vikshepa. Vikshepa. This is a very serious one. It happens all the time. You see people chanting with their beads, and then they're having a conversation. How many people have seen that? Or maybe have done it. Vikshepa is talking or thinking about mundane nonsense during devotional activities, such as hearing or chanting. How many have ever had that problem? Okay, you got him? So the first one was laya, weakness of being more soporific during hearing about the Lord than while chanting, and more soporific while remembering than during hearing about it. Vikshepa, what's that one again? Thinking or talking about mundane things during devotional activities. Like maybe you're saying the kitchen and they're chopping something for vegetables for a feast, and you're talking about the latest nonsense in the temple. Right? Gramya Katha. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear about him? Did you hear about her? Whoa, good luck. Here's your next one. Apratipati. What is it? Apratipati is when both laya and viksheka are absent. But at times, in other words, you've overcome those two. But at times, you still feel incapable of or disinterested in hearing and chanting. Anybody had that problem? Oh, I don't think I want to hear about that today. I don't feel like chanting right now. You've gotten over the other two serious ones. But now this one is just apathy. I don't think I want to hear. I'll turn on the radio and listen to something else. Or I'll read the latest magazine. See who the most famous soccer player is now. Okay? That's called apratipati. You bet it is. Yes. Okay, here's another one. This one is called Kashaya. What is it? Kashaya. Kashaya. This is a good book. Don't worry, I have copies of it for our class to keep. I have to cover them with vinyl first, or with book. And we will be going through this book, because when you go through this book, you're going to say, oh my goodness. I'm better to get serious. Right? This book is a mirror. Yes, yes. Kashaya is defined as the tendency to display in faults as anger, greed, and arrogance during devotional activities. Arrogance, anger, greed during devotional activities. Three things. Lust, anger, and greed. Those are the three gates to hell. During devotional activities. Yeah. Yeah, well, that greed for materialism has to be greed for service, right? Yeah, it's greed for seva, right? As long as you don't offend people doing it. Get out of my way. That's my guru. Don't you see? I'm supposed to be the one, sir. You know. Gotta watch it. And here's the last one. Rasa Svada. What is it? Rasa Svada. This one, I think, is a really, you gotta watch this one. It means that the mind is attached to sense pleasure. Often meditating on it, that he is unable to hear and chant with concentration. Anybody had that problem? Oh, that MBD pizza was so good.
You just made us remind it again.
I really want a new sari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Anyway, it says, with the removal of these obstacles, the devotee makes progress towards nistha, or steady devotion. If you can get past anartana vritti, it's a fast way up to prema. Anartana vritti can take many lifetimes, many, 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 many births. And guess what, folks? It's really tough to get through it. So anyway, I hope in the future when we get these covered, we'll be referring to this, get some snippets. So if you have Madhuri Kambini, do read it. Okay, let's read a little bit about Bhagavatam. Are we ready? Joy, let's get your Bhagavatam out. Do you like our little nectar breaks? We thought we were going to try to... Okay, now let us turn to... Canto 7. We'll just pick some real fun highlights, okay? And the pages are different I'm on page 219. So for you it must be maybe 220. But we're into some. I'm just picking some paragraph snippets, okay? Because if we wanted to sit and read this whole thing together, we would be here till midnight, maybe longer. So what we have to do is give you appetizers. You know, when you go to the movies, they show previews of coming attractions, right? They don't tell you the whole story, but they pick something that will get you to come the next time. This is from the chapter, we haven't taught you how to turn a page. Hare Krishna, you have to lift the page. Yeah, that's a proper way to turn a book. It's in all the books I have. Yeah, it bends the pages. And these books belong to the class. So please treat them with respect. Okay? Now the whole question of chapter 1, is the Lord equal? The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. And then the question comes up, yeah, but sometimes he favors the demigods and then he kills demons. So what's the answer? So we're going to go to the answer. And it is in my book on 219. In your book it may be 220. And it's called In the Presence of All Those Assembled at the Rajasuya Sacrifice. Can you find that one? Narada replied. Can you find it? I should probably get my own copy that's updated. I've had this for about 15 years. Find it? Okay, when I stop, you repeat. 221. Paragraph 2. Okay? Everybody got it? It's about 2 pages different. When I stop, you fill in the magic word. Malini, you got it? You got your hand on it? You have to use your little index, your pinky. In the presence of all those assembled at the Rajasuya sacrifice, Narada replied, "My dear king, due to being in the bodily of life, the conditioned souls become two, like praise and... However, because Lord Vishnu has no material, he has no such falls of I and... For this reason, the Lord does not feel or when offered or blasphemed, nor does he have any or... That was the answer. Next. Indeed, the Lord's acceptance of prayers from the and his chastisement of the are both absolutely, therefore by, this is famous, 5 ways to remember Krishna. By fear, by affection, by lusty desire, as well as by devotional service. If one somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Supreme Lord, the result will be the same. Indeed is my opinion that by devotional service one cannot generally achieve such an intense absorption in of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one who can through towards him. So we go into the story of Hiranyakashipu. It's amazing, huh? But we don't want to have enmity toward God because that's not favorable. Very much. Okay. Now there's an interesting story. Hiranyakashipu is quoting Shastra on the battlefield. He's a real diplomat. He's giving people the truth inside. He doesn't believe it and he doesn't practice it. I'm on page 221, so maybe that's 223. Hiranyakashipu said, my dear relatives. You find it? Okay, here we go. Hiranyakashipu said, my dear relatives, you should not lament for the of a great, for death at the hands of an enemy is glorious. After all, living entities come together as a family, and later on, as a result of their fruited work, they and go to their individual. It is just like travelers that assemble at a And after spending the continue on to their respective. So remember, I'm going to tell you something really heavy. You ready for it? Prabhupada said family means a group of criminals working out their prison sentences together. Srila Prabhupada. It's a group of criminals and they're working out their prison sentences together. Oh, you'll be in this long. Oh, you'll be in that long. Oh, you... And after that, they go somewhere else to work it out some more. Srila Prabhupada. You have to hear the truth from the absolute authority. Otherwise, you'll have a glamorous idea of the material world and the material body. Okay. Having rushed onto the battlefield. Did you find that one? That's on that same page. Having rushed onto the battlefield, Sayugya's queen sat down surrounding his dead body and crying out, "Oh, now that you have been, we have also lost our..." While repeating these words again and again, the queens fell at the king's feet, pounding the kumkum powder on their, reddened the queen's tears falling from their, and their hair and ornaments were in disarray. Pretty amazing story. Yamaraj comes as a little boy. I'm telling you this is an amazing story. Okay. What? Yeah. He said family in the material world means a group of criminals working out their prison terms together. Yeah, of course. Yes. A devotee, this is Vedavyas Priyamaraj. He said a devotee is a criminal on parole. On parole. You know what parole is? Yes. You've been let out of the prison because you've been well behaved in the prison. But you have to check in with the parole officer. Because if you do something outside the prison, you're thrown back in. Yeah. Did you all hear that? Devotee is a criminal, a prisoner, but he's on parole. Now, you should really meditate on these things because the absolute truth is coming from the great acharyas. Okay? So, let's hear something about Hiranyakashipu. He was really a rascal. You've all heard this part. Now I'm on page 225. You ready? That's probably 227. Hiranyakashipu asked, "Oh my Lord, please let me not meet." You got that one? This is famous. He's asking for the benediction. Please let me not meet with, at the hands of any living that were created by. Grant that I may not, with any, within any, or outside any, during the daytime or at, or while on the ground or in the. Let me not be killed by any being created by someone other than. Let me not be killed by any. Furthermore, let me have sole lordship over all the living and presiding, and give me all of the mystic that are attained by the practice of yoga. And he wanted all these, and he performed amazing austerities to get that. Okay. Yeah.
Can I tell you one story about this? That's not Varshini, it's just a Rishi. Lord Hiranyakashipu came and he slayed, Lord Nrsimhadev came and slayed Hiranyakashipu on his lap.
Yes.
And with nails, because Hiranyakashipu did not want anybody to kill him with the fingers. So Nrsimhadev killed him with
Right. He was clever. He was clever. In other words, you can't fool the Lord. Don't try to trick Krishna. What will happen? He'll trick you. He's trickier than you are. Okay? And let us see. Okay. Lord Maharaj. This is famous. 229, probably 231. Hiranyakashipu has put his darling son on his lap. He wants to know what he's learning in school. When you were little, did your father do that? Put you on your lap? What did you learn today? My dear sweet child. And he strokes and smells his head. But you got to watch out for a demon, because the minute they hear something they don't like, they turn on you. They'll turn on you. Hiranyakashipu then said, my dear Prahlad, can you find that one? I'm on 229. That'll probably be 231. Okay, here we go. Hiranyakashipu then said, my dear Prahlad, you have been hearing from for a long time. Please tell me what you think is the best of all that you have. Famous. This is famous. Quoted all the time. Prahlad Maharaj replied, hearing and chanting about the transcendental form, qualities, and a Lord Vishnu. Remembering, serving the lotus feet of the, offering the Lord respectful, offering prayers to the, becoming his, considering the Lord to be one's best, and surrendering everything unto. These 9 processes of pure devotional service are considered by me to be the education. Anyone who has dedicated himself to their should be understood as the most learned. Wow, what do you think, Nrsimhadev, what Hiranyakashipu said to that? Whoa, okay. So how's our time? You people have watches? 5. Okay. What we're going to do as we pass out the prasadam is we're going to hear a little bit about the roar of Nrsimhadev. Okay. So we've got the fruit platter coming. Make sure all classroom materials have been returned.